Good morning to all. I am Tamilmathi, Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration, A.D.M. College for Women, Nagapattinam. Today we are going to see the topic as decision making. Contents, meaning and definition of decision making. Next, characteristics of decision making, steps involved in decision making, problems of decision making, types of decision making, guidelines for effective decision making, and factors considered in decision making. The first one, meaning of decision making. What is meant by decision making? Decision making is the process of selecting one alternative from among a number of alternatives available. Next, definition of decision making. Decision making is the process of selection from a set of alternative course of action which is thoughtful to fill up the objective of the decision problem more satisfactorily than others. Flip Kotler, a decision may be defined as a conscious choice among alternative course of action. Next one, characteristics of decision making. It is goal oriented activity. Existence of alternative course of action, it may be positive or negative. It may also be a decision not to decide. Decision making is both a science and an art. It is situational. It may be voluntary or induced. It is complex mental exercise. It is an ongoing activity. The first one, it is a goal oriented activity. The object of the decision making is always to attain a specific goal. A business enterprise may set a goal to produce and sell 1 lakh unit of a certain product during a particular period. To attain such a goal, it may have to make certain important decisions at every stage. Existence of alternative course of action. The need for decision making would arise when there are more alternatives may be performing a task. If there is only one course of action available, there is nothing to decide. Next one, it may be positive or negative. Decision making is that the decision may be either positive or negative. For example, if the employees in an organization want their pay scales revised and they decide to a strike for their demand is not considered, the decision of the management may either be positive or negative. It may also be decision not to decide. It is always difficult to take a quick decisions on a sensitive issues. An immediate yes or no is always not possible to in all matters. In such a case, the tendency will be defer the decision to extent possible. The next one is decision making is both a science and an art. As a science, decision making requires the knowledge of the method, rule or principles concerning the problem. As an art, it is required the skill for making decision a success. It is situational. It means the decision maker may make different decisions for the same problem under different situations. It may be voluntary or induced. When the decision maker makes the decision himself and is not pressurized by anyone, such a decision is known as voluntary decisions. The next one is, it is a complex mental exercise. Decision making involves careful consideration of the alternative course of action, evaluation the same and selection of the best course of action. The entire process of decision making requires application of mind and intelligence. It is an ongoing activity. Decision making is a continuous process. Decisions are may be taken in everyone's life right from cradle to grave. In a business organization, several decisions need to be taken right from its inception to dissolutions. The next one, steps involved in decision making process. What are the steps involved in decision making process? The steps are identifying the problem, identifying resources and constraints, generating alternative solutions, evaluating alternatives, selecting an alternatives, implementing the decisions and review. The first one, identifying the problem. The first step in the decision making process is identifying the problem. Prior to identifying the problem, it is essential to recognize that a problem exists. Identification of the problem involves the 3 stages: scanning, categorization and diagnosis. The scanning stage involves monitoring the work environment for changes that may indicate the emergence of a problem. The next one, identifying the resources and constraints. Once the problem is identified and diagnosed, the manager should identify the resources and constraints relevant to the problem. Anything that can be used to solve the problem is a resource. This includes people, money, material, time, equipment, expertise and information. On the other hand, constraints are the factors to the limit manager's effort to solve the problem. The next one, generating the alternative solutions. Once the problem, resources and constraints of the organization are identified, the next step would be to generate feasible alternatives to the problem. Managers should not take any major decision without exploring all possible alternatives. Evaluating alternatives. The generation of alternatives should be followed by through a analysis of the pros and cons of each alternative. In other words, alternatives should be evaluated in order to see how effective each would be. Generally, there are 5 criteria on the basis which alternatives are evaluated. One is feasibility, quality, acceptability, cost and ethics. The next one, selecting an alternative. After evaluating the alternatives, the next step is decision making process would to be select the best alternative. Managers can make use of the 3 basic approaches of selecting among alternatives. The next one, implementing the decisions. Once the best among alternatives have been selected, it must be implemented properly to achieve the objective of the organization. It was selected, it is possible for a good decision to become ineffective due to poor implementation. Successful implementation of a decision usually depends on the 2 factors. One is careful planning and another one is sensitivity to those who will implement the decisions and those who will not be affected by it. The next one, review. Managers are required to monitor the process of implementation, the decision, so as to do everything is progressing according to plan. It should also be ensured that the problem that initiate the decision making has been resolved. The next one, problems of decision making. What are the problems involved in decision making process? The problems usually encountered while making decisions are explained below. The first one is lack of knowledge of alternative course of action. Next one, indecisiveness, failure to make correct diagnostics. Next one, quick decisions. Next, unavailability of necessary information. Next, resistance. Then, making decisions by itself cannot solve any problem. The first one, lack of knowledge of alternative course of action. The decision maker is oblivious of the alternatives available. In such a situation, he select the option according to his intuitions. The best decisions can be made only if the alternatives are properly evaluated. The alternative selected by him therefore may not be given the expected results. Next one, indecisiveness. It means unable to decide. It may not be possible for some managers to arrive at a decisions easily. Such a managers tend to postpone the decisions to the extent possible. This may be result is loss in business opportunities. The next one, failure to make correct diagnostics. A person suffering from a headache may take a tablet to get rid of it. It may be give some relief sometimes but not always. If he get headache often, the same tablet may not give him relief. The next one is quick decisions. The decision maker cannot always to take his own time for making decisions. Certain problems may be so urgent and that a quick decision may be necessary. A stitch in time saves 9. The next one, unavailability of necessary information. The information needed for the purpose of decision may not be easily available. In such situation, the correct decision cannot be made. There may also be delay in arriving at a decision. Next one is resistance. In certain organizations, there are may always be resistance by some subordinate staff to any decisions. Such subordinates think that any decisions made in the interest of the organization. The next one, making decision by itself cannot solve any problem. Implementation of the decisions and periodical review alone can produce the expected result. Next one is types of decisions. Managerial decisions may be the following types: organizational decisions, personal decision, strategic decision or basic decisions, routine or repetitive decision, policy decisions, operating decisions, programmed and structured decision, non-programmed or unstructured decision, individual decisions and group decision. The first one is organizational decisions. The organizational or institutional decisions are which are taken the executives of the officer in their formal capacity and which may be delegated to other persons. Next one is personal decision. The decisions which are taken by any person in the personal capacity and not as a member of organization are known as personal decisions. For example, Decisions for leave, resigning the organization and accepting the or rejecting promotions, etc. The next one is strategic or basic decision. A strategic decision making technique is those decisions which are very difficult to be taken. This affects the future of the business and is related to whole organization. In other words, these are the decisions which are taken presently, but the primary effect is observed after some time. The next one is basic decision making. Basic decision making such as decisions that are essential for the existence of the organization and for which completely steady analysis power, critical thinking are essential. The next one, routine or repetitive decision. Routine decision making means such decisions which are taken in the respect to day-to-day activities of the organizations. And the decisions to buy raw materials for the factory, stationery item to the office, sanction leave for an employee, etc. The next one, policy decisions. Policy decisions are those which relate to the basic policies of the organization, or this are taken to the top management or board of directors. Such decisions are also known as management decisions or basic decisions. What is operating decisions? Operating decisions is the respect of decisions relating to general affairs of the institution of the enterprise or mechanical in nature. Such decision making is also known as executive or current decision making because they are helpful in the execution policy decisions. The next one, programmed or structured decision. Programmed decision making is of repetitive and routine nature and which taken through some well decided and well organized system, so that the problem arises, it may solve by using that method. Non-programmed and unstructured decisions. Non-programmed decision making is not a routine or repetitive nature. There are unique and new, and they have a long lasting effect of the organization. The decision making is based on the traditional method and not on the pre-decided procedures. The next one, individual decisions. When the size of the business unit is small and the decisions to be taken not require high specific and technical knowledge of the decision of the various problems are normally taken by the manager himself. Such decisions are known as individual decision making techniques. Group decisions. Group decision making techniques mean such decisions which are not taken by a single individual but by a group. This is known as a participating decisions that are known as the individual decision making. The next one, guidelines for effective decision making. What are the guidelines involved in the decision making process? The first one is anticipate organizational problems and develop solutions, approach professionals, get rid of the tendency to postpone decisions, have access to information, involve subordinates in the decision making process, take follow-up actions. First one, anticipate organizational problems and develop solutions. A prudent manager can always anticipate certain peculiar organizational problems and develop solutions. When any such problem arises in future, the solution which is readily available can be applied. This can do for problems that peculiar or for the ready-made solutions are not available. Approach professional. A person who is having mild fever or headache can take medicines himself, but if he continues to have the symptoms, competent person to make a proper diagnosis of the illness. The same logic can be applied to the business situation also. The next one, get rid of the tendency to postpone decisions. Decisions to be effective must be made and implemented at the right time. Some managers tend to postpone decisions on the certain sensitive issues. This may sometimes aggravate the problem. It is therefore necessary to make decisions and implement the same at the appropriate time. Have to access information. Decision making depends much on the availability of timely information. Lack of information not only makes decision making difficult but also causes delay. To overcome such a problem, the enterprise must maintain a proper system of collecting and providing information. The next one is involve subordinates in the decision making process. In a business establishment, any decision making affecting the interest of the subordinates either directly or indirectly may be made by involving the subordinate themselves. In other words, the management can avoid unilateral decisions on matters concerning the employees. take up follow actions. Once the implementation of the decision starts, if it is necessary to review the progress, certain amendments if the necessary may be made upon the reactions of the individual. For example, if the decision to change the working hours of the organization is made and the same is implemented, the employer may get feedback information to the staff on the suitability of the revised timings. The next one, factors considered in decision making. What are the factors considered in the decision making process? Means the factors that are to be considered in the two categories. One is tangible factor and another one is intangible factors. The first one, tangible factors. Tangible factors are those which are can easily identified and measured. Some examples of tangible factors are profits, production, sales, purchase and inventory level. The next one is intangible factors. Intangible factors are the subjective in nature, cannot be preciously measured. How there are important intangible factors and therefore cannot be ignored in decision making. These are consumer satisfaction, employee attitude, manager and subordinate relationship, etc. The next one, personal factors affecting in decision making. What are the first personal factors affecting decision making? Means the decision made over the same issue by two different managers may not be same. This happens in a view of personality difference. That one is intellectual ability, experience, sentiments and values, courage, self motivation level, self confidence, etc. The first one, intellectual ability. The mental ability of two individuals will not be the same. People differ in their capacity to pursue, understand and analyze any given problem. Such a difference is reflected in their decisions. Experience. A manager with considerable experience may not encounter problems while having evolving decisions, even the crucial matters. This is obviously because he would have already come across such situation is career. A manager who lack experience on the other hand may fumble. The next one is sentiments and values. Every manager has his own values and beliefs and sentiments. Some managers may be pragmatic in their approach and may evolve the practical decision each time. On the other hand, there are still some others who may like to play safe and go by the convention or customs. The next one is courage. Undoubtedly, the managers needs courage to evolve and implement certain decisions or sensitive issues. The next one, level of motivation and self-confidence, etc. A manager have a high motivation level and self-confidence may not to be afraid of the reaction of his decisions. He will not bother even if his decision does not get the approval of the everyone. He is sure of the success of his decisions. Thank you.